Hey everybody, once again I want to thank Booney. I saw that reference to my accidentally calling him Booney, but once again, folks, I want to thank Booney for this wonderful 2-episode series on the departure of the A's and that it's Oakland government and yes, Oakland media's fault, or that's a Bay Area media. But Booney asked me to address a comment by Mr. Bruce Wong, and I believe it is down here because this Wong Lee Bruce there, right? Booney, 2 things I want to get your thoughts on. 1, wouldn't it have been a good idea, or it wouldn't have been a good idea at the time the A's were looking for a site to consider trying to buy 2 square blocks and building a couple of parking lots, maybe 10 stories high at 12th and Broadway near BART and the Oakland Marriott in downtown. They could maybe have bought 2 more blocks at that location to build the ballpark village they were hoping for. Howard Terminal wasn't going to work because there's no, and he continues on where you read more, no public transit there, and it was on toxic landfill from Schnitzer Steel too. If Shang Tao had not set the writ at $91 million for the final 3 years for the A's to finish up at the Coliseum, Oakland would have had them for 3 more years before they moved to Vegas and would have given the city of Oakland a chance to have better relations with the A's. And if Vegas didn't come to fruition, they could have had a shot at negotiating with the team again. I'll say this. First of all, let me take this and say that, first of all, Bruce, thanks for the question. Second, regarding what would have been a downtown ballpark, the Athletics did try it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't try it again, but at the time, this was going back to 2002, we had Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown who said there's not going to be an effing downtown ballpark as long as I'm mayor. He said that, I believe it was May 12th of 2002 at 12:34 in the afternoon during a conference call, that then Oakland City Administrator, once Oakland City Manager, Robert Bob attended. And shortly thereafter, Jerry fired Robert for his pursuit of a downtown ballpark, which was ridiculous. What did Robert do? He went to D.C. and built Washington National Stadium and revived baseball in the nation's capital. Robert Bob did that. The same Robert Bob that was fired by Jerry Brown for trying to build a new home for the Athletics downtown in Oakland. Think about where we would have been if that edifice had been built. Now you say, what does it would look like, Zenny? And I would say, look, it was to look something like what I'm about to show you. And as I go through here, and it was spectacular. It would have not only put a downtown ballpark uptown, but it would have also attracted a number of development proposals for condominiums and apartments right next to it. Because look, people want to live next to, ballpark. And such opportunities fetch high dollar money, as many of you know or should know. That the chance for that dynamic to unfold was taken away. It was taken away from Oakland some time ago. Now here is a number of mock-ups. Here's one I'm going to show you from that time, where, because it would have been positioned next to the Fox Theater. There's the Fox Oakland, and then the ballpark here, okay? And this exists. There was once a restaurant called Flora here, which has some of the best steaks in Oakland, not outside of the alley, outside of the alley. And then, of course, this leads down to 22nd. Again, the Fox Oakland is here. This exists, and this is 18th going over here, right? And so all of that would have benefited from the ballpark there. It would have transformed downtown Oakland and made it not just a destination in the Bay Area to live, but it would have made it a place to be for people coming from many places around the world. But that was taken away from us. Here's another one. This is from the website that my Zenny 62 Media Company owns, Sports Business Simulations, my dormant company here. And this talks about, that's actually a leftover code from my game, but this explains why the Oakland Athletics don't have a new stadium. This was used for classes like University of San Francisco sports administration courses when they were running my Oakland baseball simulation game. And it teaches you how to, and Roddy Moss says, Jerry Brown is the person Oakland A's fans should be mad at. That's right. Yes. Anyway, it says the new revenue generation systems include luxury boxes, club seats, stadium clubs, preferential parking, expanded sponsorship opportunities, including branding areas such as bathrooms, special ticket surcharges, and then why the Athletics don't have a new stadium. And what was written here in 2002 was the reason why the Oakland Athletics do not, as of this writing, have a new baseball facility can be summed up in one word: politics. There has been a history of animosity between the organization and elected officials representing the city of Oakland, Alameda County. The first action causing the erosion of the relationship was the team owner's flirtation with moving the organization to Sacramento, California, just 60 miles to the north of Oakland. The reason for this attempt was in part Sacramento's efforts to lure the team, and another because the new owners were not happy with the structure of their lease after the return of the Raiders to Oakland in 1995. The problem was simply the complications of changing over a stadium from baseball to football, given that much of the original plan for an automatic conversion system was never implemented. That and other problems from conflicts in game scheduling, which led to the threat of a lawsuit from the Oakland Alameda County Stadium Authority, Joint Powers Authority as we call it, to an Oakland law firm that was hired to write all of the lease agreements, which caused the Athletics to seek a new home. And that situation, along with the struggle of maintaining a competitive organization in a small television market, also caused the owners to attempt to sell the organization in 1998. Both efforts, relocation and sale, ended with an adjusted lease agreement in 1999, and then the renegotiation lease in 2002. But talk of building a new stadium continued behind the scenes until an unknown A's fan by the name of Larry Jackson first assembled the land use idea for, then promoted a new stadium using athletic fields at Laney College. Jackson talked about the idea to whomever would listen until he found a receptive ear in the form of then Oakland City manager Robert Bobb, who adopted Jackson's idea. As the proposal gained the attention of the Oakland elected officials, an alternative site was advanced, one located in the middle of the undeveloped Uptown Entertainment District in the middle of the north side of downtown Oakland. Consultants hired by Bob picked that site, shown below in this brief, as the best one for downtown stadium. But the city of Oakland was not willing to set aside money for a new downtown ballpark unless the Athletics committed funds themselves. The team's executives made no public comment on the city's ultimatum. Finally, Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown officially stepped into the stadium argument. Going against the efforts of his own city manager, Brown objected to the idea of a downtown stadium, even going so far as to communicate his opposition in the media. Brown commonly opposed Bob on sports matters, from the baseball stadium to the effort to bring a Super Bowl to Oakland. Oakland elected officials have stated that we need to hear from the Oakland A's. The Athletics took the first step in answering that call by hiring Lou Wolf as vice president for venue development. He is designated to approach Oakland's elected officials, but will also talk with the mayor of San Jose about constructing a ballpark in that California city, a move that will ultimately cause the San Francisco Giants and Major League Baseball to take an early position in the organization's efforts should a San Jose site become top priority. C. Brown urged to step up to the plate. Oakland Tribune, November 17, 2003. Then locating the Oakland facility, which is here. You can select. Now this discusses. This is in the game. This discusses how to select a facility in the game. But you can see that this was what this big swath of land in the middle of uptown Oakland and bordered by Telegraph Avenue here, San Pablo over here, and then up here, that's 19th Street. And then we have 17th here. All of this, in fact, and that's the Fox Theater. You're saying, what is this? This is the Fox Theater. So the Fox Theater would have been dwarfed by the ballpark, would have been part of it. You can see a convention, a concert in the Fox Theater, and then go to watch the baseball contest afterward. That's how this setup was. It was never brought to fruition because of Jerry Brown. Never brought to fruition because of Jerry Brown. Now, what is it? It's housing. Jerry wanted housing here. He didn't want a ballpark at all. He wanted Forest City to build housing. I brought Forest City to Oakland originally to build this as a gigantic multi-development shopping complex. And we were going to transform the entire uptown Oakland into the Times Square of the West Coast under Elihu Harris. Unfortunately, Elihu, my boss, didn't bite on the $100,000 payment Robert A. M. Stern Architects wanted to get the whole design charrette process going, which we should have done. I know Elihu today would say, you know, we should have done that. Small price to pay for success. But at any rate, the bottom line is that Jerry later, because that matter with Elihu came in 1997, but in 2002, Jerry had the opportunity to really capture history, to really remake Oakland. He blew it. He blew it only for his idea of that housing would save Oakland. And I think really also Jerry choked off development, knowing that such developments like this one would totally flip San Francisco's lofty position as the tourist destination in the Bay Area. And I believe Jerry was protecting San Francisco, something I haven't considered until really now. But on the whole, R.D. Moss is absolutely right. He's writing here on the live stream. Jerry Brown is the person Oakland A's fans should be mad at. That is absolutely true. Now, let me deal with the other question that Mr. Wong had in his series of them right here. And then he writes, if Shang Tao had not set the rent at $91 million for the final 3 years, basically with the A's have still been in Oakland for 3 years, yes, we would be talking about another season of the Coliseum and upgrades there rather than a place in Sacramento, which is really getting short shrift because everyone's overlooking that to Las Vegas, right? Then he goes on to write, they've had 3 more years before the end would have given the city of Oakland a chance to have better relations with the A's. I think this part is less important than the fact that the city of Oakland would have been a better position to demonstrate that it was a #1 candidate for a Major League Baseball expansion franchise or a franchise to relocate. Like, for example, the Devil Rays. Suppose the A's were in place and there could have been a situation where the A's had two teams. You know, hey, we'll entertain Devil Rays games for a time until they get the situation straight in Florida. Why not? Now, they can still do that today. I approached the Coliseum Joint Powers Authority with that idea, but they didn't do anything about it. So, again, and this gets to my other point, we're over-politicized. We don't have a mechanism, an organization that picks up the ball and runs with these projects. There's no sports commission. There's no economic development organization in Oakland that really focuses on sports as economic development. Our current economic development department, what does it do? Does it retain businesses? No. Does it go after and attract them? Occasionally, like maybe like once, every 2 years it feels like, as opposed to every month. We're not in a good situation in Oakland with economic development, unlike the 20th century when we were in a fantastic position and we had active economic development department, comparatively speaking. All right. Subscribe to Zenny62, and thanks again, Booney. And I'm going to make more videos in response to questions that come up like this. And I think it's like someone here says the attendance was rising because they won 97 games in 2018, and in 2019 they also had A's access where you could get a ticket to every game of the season for $150. They barely had 20,000 average attendance. The attendance was a major problem. And what I'm saying is that the attendance wasn't that much of a problem until the pandemic. And the pandemic, and you can see the numbers, we went from 1.6 million in attendance to less than half. 700,000 plus is less than half, okay? So you can't tell me that attendance wasn't the problem. And on top of that, it never reached a million again. It got close, but it never reached it. Whereas prior to that, the A's we're drawing in over 1 million people regularly from an annual perspective. That's a huge chunk of money you're losing. And then you're saying, hey, look, the attendance is down, right? Because it was, but then you want to cut the ticket prices more because it's the pandemic and they can't afford them. If the city had used tax increment financing, it could have helped the Athletics, filling a gap to help them remain a viable business at the Coliseum. At the Coliseum. They could use that a greater portion of that money to help renters maintain their apartments. And small businesses maintain their leaseholds in Oakland, so that it was less likely that a small cafe would close. We lost a lot of great businesses during that period, like Cafe 817 downtown, one of my favorite places in Oakland to get coffee. Gone. Government inaction has been the reason for the downfall of Oakland. No question about it. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark OaklandNewsOnline.com and ZennyReport.com. Thanks.